Yo, what's up guys? So we're here to showcase off a 2020 build of the newer archetype, the Megalith, mixed in with the Nekroz. You're going to be able to go ahead and cycle and get a lot of advantage here. So the deck can actually play multiple different ways. One way that you can win is straight up just go ahead and summon Zaborg, and that's going to give you so much free advantage to the point where you're basically you just won the game. If you happen to be going first and use Zaborg, most of the time you should be winning the game. I mean, look at the amount of card advantage at this point, okay? Remember, you're supposed to be starting out with just 5 cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, but at this point, obviously, it's a little bit more than 5. And not only did we destroy our opponent's extra deck, because Zaborg lets us get rid of basically half of their extra deck, Yugioh is going to go ahead and also say, oh, well, you're basically getting no effects out of the extra deck anyways, because monsters that are supposed to come from the extra deck, you're going to be negating those effects. And then to top that off, this also can protect your cards as one of the hand traps for the deck. But the deck also happens to have basically a hand trap, if you will. The guy also happened to have Regeki, which was kind of lucky on him. I know it's Blacklings, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you can go ahead and, as a quick effect, special summon a monster on your opponent's turn, which is going to go ahead and be Belthor. And Belthor is going to be able to pop cards equal to the amount of ritual cards that have different names in your graveyard. And at this point, well, he just loses everything. Like, straight up, every single card is going to be popped because you got a bunch of different rituals. Because the Nekroz can just cycle cards very, very fast. So the deck has multiple win conditions, like I said before. But I just want to mention something really quick. There is a official Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links sweepstakes that is going on. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Official Duel Links did partner up with me. We made a video. It's basically my favorite card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. And I'll link that down below because I uploaded it super late last night, so you guys might not have seen it. But I just want to mention this really quick because this is going to be the last day that you guys can actually enter in. And all you have to do is upload a screenshot of your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card and your email address, and you can win a trip to Japan, and it's official Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links, so 100% legit. But I'll leave that down below. But I still wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about this deck because, like I mentioned before, there's another way that you can play this deck. So obviously, this would be a more control way to play the deck, where you basically summon Yugioh, and if anything would get rid of Yugioh, you go ahead and Belthor and just get rid of anything that would pose a threat to your board. And on top of that, you can make this deck all about being a boss monster-oriented deck, which is just going to be all about essentially summon one monster and give your opponent the handshake. Now, the opponent over here is playing a Grand Maju deck, which is sometimes a very difficult deck to deal with. And he's going to get a Grand Maju with Absurd Attack, which you guys will see here. But we've got the Sacred Flame over here. And this has the effect where it can't be destroyed by battle, it can't be destroyed by card effects, and it gains 1200 attack. And then neither player can target it with card effects, and it gains another 1200 attack. So basically 4800, and you're not going to be able to really do too much with it. And then also, because that wasn't enough, while this card is in the extra monster zone, monster your opponent's controls cannot target next monsters in the main monster zone for attacks. So good luck with that, right? But he still happens to have Grand Maju, but he can't summon it now because it would only be 4,000. On top of that, well, what are you going to do against this card, right? So he's going to go ahead and start healing up, start getting extra cards banished, so Grand Maju can be a little bit stronger. But he's just going to have to set Grand Maju at the end of the day here. Because, well, he's got 4,400, so I guess I think you really should have set the card, because if it's face up, your opponent's going to know what it is, even though if you put it face down, they probably already suspect it. But nonetheless, he finally gets enough stats on the Grand Maju, because remember, that's going to be the attack and defense over here. But again, remember how I was saying that this deck, it's just going to surprise your opponent with potentially those hand traps. And we also have Zaborg. Like I said before, when you use Zaborg, your opponent is going to straight up lose maybe half of the games, because most Yu-Gi-Oh decks, they need the extra deck. Grand Maju Iza doesn't care about the extra deck at all, okay? So this would be technically a matchup where that doesn't matter. But once again, Belthor, it's going to go ahead and just pop everything. And that's where I feel like that this deck becomes very strong, and with no monsters left on the field, you're just going to go ahead and have to give him the handshake. But let's go ahead and go into the deck profile for this, just in case any of you guys do want to go ahead and try out this deck. Now, he did have 2 different variants, but this was one of the ones that was sent in. So Anyways, I gotta give a shout out to my boy Killer B for this deck profile, and there is a very long post over on Reddit. If you guys want to check that out, I'll leave it down below. But basically, he goes in depth on every single thing that you guys might want to actually read. If you guys do want to follow it up without like the video, if you want to read, feel free to go ahead and do so. I'm more of a guy that likes to watch visually how things go off. But you guys can see the deck seems like it's pretty decent. Again, it doesn't come out for a while here in the TCG, but it triples the board. Then we got Vandy's Ruler, 2 copies of Talismandra, 2 copies of the Bookstone, 2 copies of Candle, and 2 copies of Pensilver. Then we got the Crealtar. Then we got Phalig over here. I didn't go over all of their effects, but I did basically cover the Megalith. Pretty much, honestly, the one that's most important is most of the cards can be summoned via the ability to quick effect, where you can discard it to ritual summon. This is like one of the more important ones. And then on top of that, the Belthor is actually one of the most important ones. And then Ophiel, you can ritual summon this card, use it with any Megalith card. And then if this card is ritual summoned, you get to add a Megalith monster. So those are the most important ones. This one searches out the monster. This one's going to go ahead and activate as a quick effect. And then this one is going to go ahead and be the popper here. But we got 3 copies of Aratron over here. This one actually has a little bit more decent stats. But this one lets you ritual summon from the hand. This is the quick effect. And then Belthor's Pop. And then we have 3 copies of the Ancient and Ascended. This is basically your hand trap, if you will. That also acts as another ritual monster, so it fuels up your graveyard even further here. You can still technically run Call by the Grave if you want to. And then we have 1 copy of Talistime, 1 copy of Brandak, 1 copy of Unicorn. Again, most of these small little extra engines are just for the names, but it really just helps out with the deck. Then 3 copies of Ophiel. Then we got 1 copy of Call of Solace, 1 copy of Creature Swap. Then we got Foolish Burial Goods, and then Foolish Mass Burial here. And then we've got the Upstart Goblin, 3 copies of Preparation of Rites, 1 copy of Kaleidoscope, 2 copies of Inception over here, and then 1 copy of the Megalith Portal. And this is the field spell card. I didn't really get to talk about it because it wasn't shown in the gameplay, but the first time each ritual summon monster would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. And then if a Megalith monster is special summoned, except during the damage step, you get to target a ritual monster graveyard and add it to your hand. I believe this card is really good for recyclability, and obviously once you get going with this deck, you're going to get a lot of free advantage, specifically with Zaborg. It just makes the deck so much better. And when I was building my Chaos Max Dragon deck, I also maxed out on Zaborg. And then for the extra deck, we got 3 copies of Elder Entity and Chest, 1 copy of Omega, 3 copies of Arclight, 3 copies of Totally Awesome, and 3 copies of Nephthys Sacred Flame. Honestly, you don't need 3 copies of this card. If you really wanted to, you could definitely go ahead and throw in other Nightmare cards. The reason why I do like them is sometimes these cards will survive, and on top of that, you have the Megalith Portal. So if you really need to get rid of any potential back row that is annoying, like for example, he definitely needed to go ahead and get rid of that Macrocosmos, because that can definitely put a thorn in this deck. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the Megalith, because I haven't really heard anyone talking about them, and this is just 2 different ways that you guys can play them. Basically, Zaborg is a win condition, and this is another win condition, but there's a bunch of more to read if you guys want to read it over on the Reddit thread, which again, I'll link down below. And you guys, don't forget to go ahead and sign up for the official Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links win a trip to Japan. Again, it's all 100% free, and heck, dude, you're going to be able to go to Japan from Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's going to be pretty cool. I'm sure they'll probably do some other events there. Unless they're just like, okay, here's a trip to Japan. Go in, have some fun by yourself, and go ahead and get some of those OCG cards. Heck, you could maybe go there and get some of these Megaliths early. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good one. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. And if you did, drop a like on it. And if you are new here, hit subscribe, turn on that bell so you don't miss out on new Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck builds. Because of course, Megaliths are just around the corner here for the TCG next year. And maybe we'll get a new list and Unicorn will go to multiple. But again, this is 2 different ways that you can play Megaliths. But thanks for tuning in, guys. And if you guys got any other replays that you want to send in that maybe just didn't get a spotlight, feel free to go ahead and send in to azneyesreplays@gmail.com, just like our boy Killer B over here. And once again, shout out to you for building something that no one's really talking about. I like seeing new stuff. But thanks for watching. Have a good one. I'm signing out. Peace.